Hello and a very warm welcome to the business program. Innovation, partnership, technology. These are the key themes of the Sochi International Investment Forum, which is into its second day. The forum has attracted over 6,000 business representatives from Russia and other countries. And we continue to bring you the top speakers and issues from Sochi, which is also hosting the 2014 Winter Olympics. And now I'm joined live by Business RT's Nicholas Bull, who is at the forum. Hello, Nick, and thank you very much for joining us. So, Nicholas, is it true that Russia and the other BRIC countries are becoming more and more attractive to investors?
Well, there is quite a strong sense here that Russia is one of the golden children of the world economy, along with its BRIC cohorts, Brazil, India and China. To find out if there's any merit to this belief, I'm joined by Kirill Dmitriev, who's president of Icon Equities. Thank you for joining us today. Has there been a paradigm shift? Are the Western developed economies inexorably sliding backwards?
Well, what we definitely see is that Russia is coming back very strongly, and the growth this year is going to be 4%, inflation is going to be below 7%. And we see that lots of industries in Russia are coming back, which is the case for other BRIC countries as well. So I see definitely we see much more promise of growth in BRIC countries than we do see in already developed countries.
Not all BRIC countries are the same. How does Russia rank in terms of its growth prospects?
I think obviously China is a bigger country and is growing faster. But what Russia has, it's not only growth in its energy sector, but also lots of other sectors that were underinvested before that are coming back very strongly. So I think Russia is a very promising place, and Prime Minister yesterday talked about foreign investment being very critical for Russian growth. So definitely Russia is going to be one of the stronger players in the BRIC world, probably a little bit behind China, definitely.
Russia is not yet diversified and is heavily reliant on selling its resources abroad still. So if the West, if Europe in particular slows down, surely Russia has to slow down.
Well, that is definitely is true, but what we see is that energy prices, and we had a long discussion yesterday about the prospective energy prices. The expectation is that they're going to stay quite high, and that is definitely very good for Russia. And the budget next year is going to be based on the assumption of $75 per barrel, whereas expectations for Goldman and by other leading players is that oil is going to be definitely above $80 per barrel. So that creates a very stable sort of environment for Russia generally, where other industries such as telecommunication, retail, and non-energy sectors can grow very well. And as China example showed, domestic demand is very important. So Russia is actually generating quite a bit of domestic demand, which can propel growth even despite some of the slowdowns in Europe.
And how would an investor take advantage of this situation?
Well, there are several plays. One is an obvious energy play, which many investors have been pursuing, but there are also new sectors emerging. And one example, there will be an IPO of an internet company called DST, in the next 3-4 months, which is an example of a very fast-growing internet sector in Russia. Telecom is an interesting sector. Agricultural plays are quite interesting. So investor has a chance to invest not only in oil and gas, but in a quite diversified sort of amount of Russian sectors. And as Prime Minister said, it's very important for both Russia to attract foreign investment and for foreign investors to take benefit of the growth that Russia provides.
This is quite an optimistic outlook, I think. There must be risks involved. What could they be?
Well, the risks are many, but I think you mentioned paradigm shifts, and I think there are two. One is a paradigm shift where BRIC is developing much faster than many other places, but also paradigm risk within Russia, where now foreign investors are much more welcome than they were before. And I think with that, Russia government is committed to resolving the risks, but the risks are obvious. It's bureaucracy, it's how to make courts more efficient. So there are lots of risks, but the Russian government wants to deal with them to make foreign investors feel very welcome in Russia.
Thank you very much indeed. Kirill Dmitriev, President of Icon Equities.
Thank you, Nick.
Julia, back to you.
Nicholas, thank you very much for this. Indeed, RT's Nicholas Bull reporting live from the Investment Forum in the Russian city of Sochi.